Hello everyone, and Merry Christmas to you all. It is Christmas time, Christmas week, and we are looking at three classic comedies this week. All vintage, one extremely vintage, two British and one American comedies. And we're kicking off the week with the absolute legend that is Norman Wisdom. And we're going to be looking at a film from this set called The Early Bird. I love Norman Wisdom. I've met him in Stevenage. He was performing at the Gordon Craig Theatre, and me and my friend were there in the sort of bar part, having a drink after we've been doing something in the leisure centre, and he was there. He was in there, and he saw us there, and we were both punks at the time, and he come over to chat to us because he liked our hairs, and he sat with us and brought us a drink, and he chatted to us for about half an hour. Absolutely amazing guy, really lovely chap. So yeah, I had the absolute pleasure of meeting and having a conversation with Norman Wisdom, the late great Norman Wisdom. Anyway, we're looking at The Early Bird, which is about a Grimsdale Milk Company, Grimsdale Dairies, and Norman Pitkin he plays in most of his film, and Mr. Grimsdale run a local dairy. They're quite an old-fashioned sort of dairy, where they got like a horse and cart and stuff like that. And the film starts off, the first 20 minutes of the film is them getting up. it's a whole 20 minutes of absolute capers of trying to get up to go and do their milk deliveries. And some of the strange things they get up to, they're so sleepy they fall down the stairs. They both fall down the stairs. Norman falls down there first. He slips on his he's got his house coat and he slips on it. And I think Mr. Grimsdale gets his house coat stuck in the door and sort of goes flying backwards down the stairs. So they both fall down the stairs. When Norman gets out of bed, Mr. Grimsdale gets into his bed. It's hilarious. It's really funny and stuff like that. And Norman goes down and puts the kettle on, and he goes and puts the gas boiler on in the bathroom, but there's no matches there. So he goes off looking for matches and stuff like that, and he forgets he's left the gas on. And downstairs is a woman that lives there as well, and she's sort of like friendly with Mr. Grimsdale, and she's telling them to be quiet. She's got her eyes shut. They've all got their eyes shut for the whole thing, and it's like Norman puts the kettle on, it starts to boil. Mr. Grimsdale goes down and turns it off. Norman goes back in and makes the tea. It's an absolute capers, and all this sort of stuff going on. And then there's one stage when Norman goes to the bathroom, still looking for matches. Mr. Grimsdale's in there, and he wants to go first, so he takes the matches off him and pushes Norman out of the room. And then there's a big explosion because the gas has been on, and then he falls down into the bed of the woman downstairs, Mr. Grimsdale, and Norman thinks there's something going on, and it's just absolute crazy mayhem. And then we cut to like a major company like milk, dairy, Consolidated Dairies, I think they're called, and they are like a major company like Unigate, and they obviously want Grimsdale Dairies to be out of business because these have been the local ones. They've probably got a few local neighbourhoods and streets that they deliver to. So the boss of the dairies orders one of the milkmen to go on his Grimsdale's round, Norman's round, and sort of break all his bottles and stuff like that. So when Norman goes out of his horse and cart, he finds that all his bottles are broken and they've been replaced with the big company's milk and stuff like that. So he's absolutely livid and stuff like that. And then he gets to one house where there's a big argument going on. You can hear like the husband and wife having an argument, and he's got his little crate of milk, and he goes and knocks on the door, and then the guy answers the door, and he picks up each bottle and throws them in the house at his wife, sort of thing. all 6 bottles, and then Norman sort of like and then he shuts the door. So Norman rings the bell again, and says to him, "Oh, do you want milk?" "No, not today, thank you," sort of thing. And he shuts the door, and they carry on arguing. And then Norman sees 2 pints of consolidated milk outside, so he picks them up, rings the bell again to hand them over to him. And when they answer, it's the woman. She goes, "Oh, thank you, the milk's here," sort of thing. Oh, bless his heart. So he just can't get it right. And then he carries on with his round, and then he bumps into the guy, the milkman, that's been smashing his bottles, and it turns into like a western sort of scene for like a town sort of shootout, and and they sort of like they got this cowboy music playing, and they're like in the middle of the street, and everyone's rushing into their houses out of the way like it's a gunfight sort of thing. And then they get close to each other, and they start talking and waffling, and the other milkman says, "Oh no, it's not me, it's doing it. It's the cats. The cats are doing it because you've got wooden sort of cardboard lids on your milk, and all the birds are pecking through it, so the cats can smell the milk." It's all this sort of thing, and Norman just looks absolutely dazed, and he tells him to go and complain to the manager of the big company. So Norman goes, "I will then." So he asks for his address, and he goes to his big house, like a big mansion, and the boss of the milk company is out there doing his gardening, and Norman comes along and interrupts it, and then mayhem starts off in this boss's garden as Norman sort of gets into his slapstick trouble. And that's all I'm going to sort of really tell you. So what's going to happen? Oh, Grimsdale Dairy is going to go out of business, or they're going to collaborate with them. What's going to happen? You need to watch it and find out. What do I think of The Early Bird? It's a classic. It is a British slapstick, innocent classic film for its time. It must have been made in the 1960s or something like that, you know. And it's got some sort of famous faces in there that you'll recognise when you're watching the film, and it is of its time. The humour is very, very innocent. It's very, very sort of young humour. So if you've got a young family, they should enjoy it a lot. And if you've got grandparents, they will definitely enjoy it a lot because they will remember it and watch it. I mean, I remember it, seeing it when I was a kid. Christmas time, when I was a kid, you used to get seasons of films. You used to get like Normal Wisdoms and all these sort of classic comedian. You'd have like 3 or 4 films of theirs throughout the whole Christmas period, and it was a magical time. And I used to circle in the Radio Times, you know, all the Normal Wisdom films or all the other comedy films that I watched at Christmas time. And that was the only sort of time you really got to see these films, because they tend to put them on at Christmas time. Occasionally they used to put them on Sundays, but it used to be at Christmas time, and because they were great family friendly fun movies, and that's all it is. So I'm going to score it an amazing watch and give it an 8 out of 10. It's a great film. Of course it's not a 9 or a 10 out of 10 film, because it's of its time. It's very slapstick. It's very non-stop sort of Normal Wisdom being Normal Wisdom, because like Michael Crawford, who played Frank Spencer in the Some Others Do Have 'Em, Norman Wisdom did his own stunts. So when he falls down the stairs and stuff, he's him doing it. He did all his own stunts. And so you got to give him credit for that. And he was still doing his own stunts in his 80s and stuff like that. Absolutely amazing. Really, really cool film. If you get a chance to sort of pick this box set up, I think it's quite cheap. Please do. I don't know how many films it's got in there. It's got a shed loads of films. It's got multiple discs of Normal Wisdom movies. Absolutely, hundreds of them. You know, and I'm just thinking, what if you can pick it up for about 10, 12 quid, you're going to have an amazing time of it, and it's something you can hand down to your kids, because they will love it. It's innocent fun, and I think a lot of kids today, we look the same. We've got the same hat on. Look, I think a lot of kids today have missed out on stuff like this, and this is probably why a lot of them are like they are. You know, you get a lot of troublesome kids, don't you, with nothing to do. And I think if they're stuck at home watching movies like this, that are innocent fun and have a moral behind it, maybe they won't be as sort of like I don't know, disruptive as they are today. But when I was a kid, it was like we lived for these sort of things because they were just magical. And I think kids today should have that in their life. So why not introduce your kids to Normal Wisdom or something like that? Because they will love it, especially if they're about sort of, I'd say between the sort of 5 and 10 area. They're going to absolutely fall in love with Normal Wisdom because he was absolutely fantastic. Early Birds, 8 out of 10. How many have you guys seen it? If you have, let me know down below what you think of it. It's a great movie. Yes, it's not a Christmas film. It's just a comedy that used to be shown every Christmas, and that's what I'm doing this week. Is some comedies, not Christmas films. I was going to do Christmas movies, but I thought no, I'm going to do 3 classic comedies this week. And this week's strange because although it's Christmas time, this might be on the Friday, and then you'll get another one on Christmas Day, that sort of thing. So it's oh, it's great fun, guys. Please put some magic and comedy into your Christmas and it makes the whole thing so much warmer, especially if you dig out a classic like this. Absolutely brilliant. Thanks for watching, guys. Merry Christmas, and I really hope I'll see you all soon.